Well, hi everyone, it's Markus and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle. Today I am speaking to an incredible director. His name is Ben Stefanoff. He's got a new play about to hit town. It's called Jekyll and Hyde. Please welcome Ben. Ben, hey, how are you?
Hi, Marcus. How are you?
Good, thank you. Jekyll and Hyde by the Hills Musical Community, which will be playing in Stirling Community Theatre from the 8th of November to the 23rd of November. We'll go through the specific dates soon. Very excitedly coming along. So tell us about Jekyll and Hyde.
So, Jekyll and Hyde is based on the absolute classic novel, which I grew up reading by Robert Louis Stevenson, The Strange Case of Mr. Hyde and Dr. Jekyll. It is about this man Dr. Jekyll, who sees that there are two sides to people, good and evil, and he wants to undertake experiments to be able to extract the evil from people and only keep the good. And it's set in 1888 in Victorian era in England, where there were big changes in medical research, big changes in way the industry of like industrial revolution and things like that were happening. It's also the time Jack the Ripper was around, allegedly. It really looks at that struggle of humankind, and what unfolds is a whole series of unfortunate events when he realizes the only way to conduct these experiments is to test them on himself. So that's where Mr. Hyde comes into play, which is his alter ego, his evil, darker side. And it's not a very happy ending show, but it's a whole tale of murder and mishap, and there's a bit of love thrown in there as well, and a bit of a love triangle. So it's a bit juicy.
But we like juicy. We like
Oh,
juicy. Hey, so when did the musical actually get created?
so late 80s, brilliant composer called Frank Wildhorn came up with the concept of taking it's a rather dry worded book, and he could see something in it, and he rewrote it so it was more about the internal struggles of Jekyll, where the book's more written from his partner, his lawyer's perspective of tales unfolding. So Frank Wildhorn in the late 80s wrote a musical based on it that had originally Colm Wilkinson, who's known for Les Mis and one of the original Phantom, like he's played Phantom and things like that. And it never did really well. Frank Wildhorn discovered Anthony Wallow, of all people, and loved his voice and invited Anthony to LA, where they lived together for about 6 months and rewrote the show. And there is a brilliant cast recording in the early 90s of Anthony Wallow doing the whole album. And it was just a concept album. And then from there, David Hasselhoff played the role on Broadway.
Wow.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's an experience.
Are we talking David Hasselhoff, the Knight Rider period or the Baywatch period?
The in-between period.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
to clarify.
there's some good moments in it, but yeah, late at night after a few cheeky cocktails, it's a good one.
I like.
But it's gradually over time just worked into this brilliant piece of theatre that it is. It's never really done a big full tour here in Australia. They did a concert version 2 years ago with Anthony Wallow and Gemma Ricks, in the show, which was brilliant, concert format, but it's never really toured as a stage production.
Okay. And so, as far as you know, has any other theatre companies actually produced this musical here in Adelaide?
Yes, well, Hill's Musical Company produced the show early 2000s,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah,
then
wow.
yeah, quite a while ago. And then in 2017, I music directed it here in Adelaide, at the Arts Theatre. And then Hills came to me and said, "Is there a show for us to put on that you'd like to direct?" And Jekyll's just one of those shows that I've got this strong love for. The score is just epic, and I wanted to draw on the darker side of the show, and look at that more darker aspect of the show, which is where we've really pulled a lot of out of it. Yeah.
Now, it's a massive cast, 20 cast members, obviously starring Daniel Hamilton in the lead role. I mean, 20 cast members. As a director, is that a struggle? Is that a task for you?
Um, yes and no. Yes, from a wrangling people's timetables perspective, because
Mm.
our brilliant cast, they're all volunteers and they volunteered and donated their time to do this show. So working out, like, we have the set rehearsal times, but people are in and out all the time. So coming up with a structured schedule has been hard. But they're a wonderful cast and they're fully committed to this show and they've really given all. We've done a lot of character workshops and hearing their ideas of where characters might come from or background stories and things like that that the audience may not necessarily know, but it helps as a actor to know a bit of a backstory for your character so you can put it into your track on the stage. But they've been wonderful to work with. And at times you forget there's 20 and then you put them all on the Stirling community stage and you're like, oh, that is a lot of people.
Wow. Now, the crew are essentially like incredible at what they do. Obviously, Kristen is doing the musical directing and also conducting. Mark Stefanoff is actually doing the choreography. The team that you've built around this project is just impressive in regards to their talents. Are you super proud at the moment?
I am, to be able to actually do a show with family is incredible. So, Kristen being my wife, she's also a brilliant vocal teacher and piano teacher here in Adelaide with a wait list. She knows what she's doing, and the sound she's got from the cast is brilliant. And then to be able to work alongside my brother as choreographer, and as well as a really dear friend of ours, Emily Jo Davidson, who's working with Mark on the choreography. Together, the two of them have created something absolutely brilliant to watch.
Magnificent. Now, this, of course, is the last production for the year for the company.
Yes.
The one I just saw previously was Town. Incredibly hilarious, great fun. I mean, that was just joyful. Out of the last few years, can you give me a show, apart from this one here, that is definitely going to be one of your favorites, but can you give me a show that you've really enjoyed producing over the course of the last couple of years?
Oh, there's two that I've loved that I've been involved with. One was High Fidelity, which we did back in 2020. I should know the flyers somewhere behind me. It was the first show the Hills did straight after COVID. And that was just a brilliant show based on the film and the book of the same name. And then last year I directed Carrie the musical for Hills, which another dark show. I love the dark shows. If you look at my track record, I love the dark shows. So
Are you
yeah.
telling me that was last year already that Carrie was on?
Yeah, Carrie was this time
No
last year.
way. That I can't
I
believe
know.
that year has gone so fast. That's just bonkers. Hey, can I
I
tell you
know.
one of my other favorites? I absolutely adored Your Own Town and all the other ones that you've mentioned as well. Actually, I didn't see High Fidelity, but I'll tell you another one that I really thoroughly enjoyed, and that was Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Yes,
So
that
joy,
was a good one.
really
It
good
gets
fun.
I was writing my biography for the show program the other day, and I just started listing shows that I've done, and I went, "Oh, I've been doing this for over 15 years now. That's a lot of shows, so it's I'm starting to cut them out now."
Well, can I tell you, and for everyone else's benefit who's thinking of going and seeing Jekyll and Hyde, is I absolutely love the little ride up the freeway. 20 minutes out of the city, nice and easy. And when I get to the actual theatre, Stirling Community Theatre, it's just a really beautiful, welcoming theatre to walk into. It's like walking into a great big warm hug.
It
Everyone
is.
there is friendly. The seats are super comfortable. It's
Mhm.
acoustically, the theatre is amazing. A nice big stage, an amazing theatre. So for those of you that haven't been to the Stirling Community Theatre, get along, go and see Jekyll and Hyde because you will absolutely love it. A great venue. Um,
Yep.
so can you give us any sneak peeks of what might be coming up in 2025, or is that hush at the moment?
No, Hills have just released their season for next year. So the first show they're doing is Little Women, which is going to be directed by Vanessa Redmond and Tammy Shields, music directed by Dylan Rufus, and choreographed by Ashley Rathjen. Brilliant, brilliant show. The Adelaide Conservatorium did a production of it this year, I think. Yes, it was this year. And it was done in Adelaide quite a few years ago by Therry Theatre as well. Beautiful, heartwarming, light, lovely story. And then in the second half of next year in November, I'm directing the essay premiere of a musical called Be More Chill, which is another very dark, twisted musical about a young boy who wants to be cool, but he's not. He's a complete nerd. And he discovers this pill that has a supercomputer in it that when he takes it, it makes him more cool and more laid back and chilled. But the computer may or may not have a virus, and things may or may not go wrong as the show progresses.
I'm looking forward to that one already. I will be
Yes.
there. Hey, tell me, Ben, what do you love about the theatre?
Oh, the theatre. What isn't there to love? I think it's just a great way to be able to express yourself and to put yourself into a world you may not necessarily be able to be in and tell some brilliant stories. Like Jekyll and Hyde, whilst yes, it is a very dark story with not a very happy ending, at the heart of it, it is a strong message of standing up for what you believe in and accepting others for what they might believe that might be different to yours. So to be able to tell stories like that through theatre is a very powerful tool.
Outside of your own shows that you've been working on just recently, what's another show that you've seen that was just totally outstanding?
Oh, I just saw a production of a musical called Alice by Heart, which was done by the Conservatorium. That was like one of the best pieces of theatre I have seen for a long time. The incredible Peter Johns music directed that. Aaron James was the director, and it featured all the second year students studying musical theatre at the Conservatorium. Brilliant production. Of course, Grease is in town for another week, which was just a lot of light-hearted fun. So they're probably my two picks at the moment.
Nice, I like it. Well, everyone, Jekyll and Hyde is on at the Stirling Community Theatre, like I said, produced by the Hills Musical Company. It is 8th of November, the 9th of November, 10th of November, 15, 16, 17 of November, and the 22nd and 23rd of November. A couple of those are matinees. So get along, get your tickets. I'll put the link in, the post above, below, however it all works. Get along and support the amazing arts and entertainment industry of Adelaide. Ben Stefanoff, always a pleasure catching up. And I will see you
And
at the show really soon.
I'll be there. See you there.
See you, my friends.